Now, before we actually get into this, I have some questions for you, Mr. Fly. I have some
for me. Yeah,
for you. I have some questions for you.
This is different. There's so much that happens in that chapter alone.
Yeah. We touched the surface.
Yeah, no, but we gotta name this part because this is deep. Yeah.
Listen, we could talk about this book. There's so much more we could talk about this book, but we're not going to read the book. Welcome back to another episode of Ty and Fly Book Reviews. I go by Ty.
Yes, what's going on, Mr. Fly here?
Yes.
Big up Paulie Lambrisco photography as well. Thanks for the merch today, my guy. Thanks.
Representing the top. So this month's book is Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. You can see Mr. Fly has it there in the background. I have it here in the background here too. This was actually Chris's book or Mr. Fly's book that he recommended. Now, before we actually get into this, I have some questions for you, Mr. Fly. I have some
for me. Yeah,
for you. I have some questions for you.
This is different. Yeah, go on. You caught me off guard. You didn't even give me a warning, you know.
Yeah, no warning. First question: how would you assess our friendship? You know, would you say we're book review friends? You know, how are we more than book review friends?
You're my brother.
So you'd put me quite high on the list of friends, right? Okay, cool. And we're doing one book a month, right? And this was our 10th book of the year.
Yeah,
we have 5 choices each. That's correct.
Yeah.
And this was your 5th choice.
Correct.
And you've read this book already. Can you see where we're going? You've read this book already. Yeah. And you've taken 5 episodes of your choice to give me access to this book. What? I didn't want to swear, but what?
Oh my days. You're funny, you know. What kind of brother am I? Boy, you're a funny guy.
Yeah. What kind of brother are you? 5. This is your 5th selection, and you've withheld me from experiencing this book all year.
Yeah.
What? I need answers.
All right, cool. Let me cast your mind back, to the first episode we did, And you remember now. You're laughing, remember? Then you put the book on my head. Yeah, that was your punishment. I'm playing. That's your punishment. No, I'm playing. To be honest with you, 2 reasons, No, the main reason was the stamina to read this book. It's quite a long book, but it was always on the list. It was always going to get read. So I'm sorry though, but I apologize. Okay. But we got here in the end, didn't it?
Yeah, we got it in the end.
Yeah, but remember you held back on
no.
What's called?
No,
yes,
no.
Thinking in Bets.
I held back to like the third book.
Yeah, but I had to press you. We can go into this if you want to go into this. I had to press you. I had to press you for that. Yeah. Remember? Say it on camera. Remember?
But okay.
No, Tyler.
Tyler. I remember it.
Please. Okay, thank you.
I remember it. Yeah. All right. I'm not even going to defend myself. Let's continue.
Because I had to push you a bit. I had to push you. But
I'll let you have that.
I'll let you have that. Okay.
But 3, 5. All right. Cool. Anyway, David Goggins Can't Hurt Me. Hey, this book was the ultimate gas. Like ultimate gas. I needed it this month. Good. I actually felt like I needed it this book, and at the start of it, I was gassed from like the first chapter, the first introduction bit. And he even said something in the first introduction, and it was like, yo, I'm ready. He's like, I hope you're ready. It's time to go to war with yourself. I was like, whoa, okay, what we got, Goggins? What we got? Yeah, man, the intro. I mean, I don't know if you remember back to the intro, but what were you thinking?
His childhood? You mean his childhood?
Not even the childhood. It was before we got into the childhood. It was just literally at the start. This is a book about breaking boundaries.
Okay, so before we got into that, I mean, I do. The book from the day one, even from when I first encountered David Goggins. Big up to Toya, actually, Queen of Castles, because she's the one who actually put me. We was in a WhatsApp group, and she sent a video. And he was on an interview, and I was like, when they show clips or videos, and he was just talking some power, and I was like, I was literally had to research. I was like, who's this guy? Had to find it was Impact Theory. Had to find the episode. From then, I was like, nah, this guy is too real, because he's like that. I don't know. For me, his brand of truth and his brand of, if you want to call it, I wouldn't call it motivation, but his brand, the way he delivers what he's talking about, really, really resonates with me. And I think like it's very funny in contrast to last month's book, Think Like a Monk, because there's the contrasting of the way one is delivered compared to how the other's delivered. The one might appeal more to another person, and to, you know.
Oh, you're muted. Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is the way he kind of speaks from the start to the finish just really resonates with me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
And I think
I
there's.
don't remember that specifically.
You don't remember that specific sentence? No,
No,
that's all right. I
no.
wrote it down because it just got me pumped, and I was like, "Yo, I'm ready." But one of the things I love about this book was the realness of it, because I mean, we'll come on to the different sections, but the realness of his mental toughness. It's not like he's just a mentally tough person. It's actually come from somewhere, and it kind of shows me that, you know, I can also get to those levels, or anyone can get to those levels. I mean, we'll start by talking about his childhood, where I mean, I had a great childhood in my opinion. You know, I had a great childhood, but he had a really tough childhood, and he used that fuel and that anger and that suppression to better himself later on in life. I mean, it took him a while. But yeah, I mean, what did I write down? I mean, he had an abusive dad. His dad was abusive to his mom, abusive to him and his brother. Even there was one section where he talks about his dad come in the room to get a gun that was underneath his pillow, and I was like, yo, this is mad. And I mean, America's obviously different to the UK, but that's still mad. You know, he was 6 years old at the time. And I mean, he went through so much trauma as a child, growing up, experiencing racism. I mean, you add to it, add some meat.
Like even like, boy, the childhood alone, the fact that his dad owned a skate park or skating rink, and they used to go to school and then basically work all night at the skating rink. With, you know, where that's not the environment for a child, for starters. Then even with his mum, they used to have dinner on the floor. So they're trying to make it a homely, like as homely as possible. They used to sit down and have dinner on the floor. His dad wasn't part of that. His dad was out doing what he was doing. And you would even think like that, because his dad was quite well off. I think they were middle class. You could say they were middle class. Yeah, they were middle class. But his mum, his brother never saw any of that money. They weren't able to do anything for themselves. So you could effectively call it like sorry to go there, but like a version of slavery in a way, man, because they didn't really get nothing out of it. And anything they tried to do for themselves, as in his mum tried to sign him up for cadets or something like that, his dad was like, nah, you've got to work, basically. So it was really hard, man. His dad used to beat his mum in front of him. You know, these are things, unfortunately, that people have to go through, that don't have to go through, that people go through, that children go through, you know. And it's like, when you, and then the effects that had on his confidence, that affects that had on his education, you know, that affects, and even like jumping forward a little.
He couldn't read.
He had a stutter, you know, all that kind of stuff. And jumping forward to when he was at school, how we had to try and basically fake it through school, through cheating and stuff like that. I mean, it all boils down to that childhood and the abuse, because that's what it is. It's abuse from his father. You know, it's hard, man. Hard. You know.
I mean, his life. I mean, lots of people have experienced different or difficult experiences growing up, and it seemed like he had time after time difficult experiences growing up. Even afterwards, they escaped. Him and his mum escaped and left the abusive father. I think the brother stayed.
So they left first. So his mum, don't want to give too much, because it is, read this book, innit? So I don't want to give too much away. They left, and then his dad was like, and I think like this is something that I wrote down as a note. Basically, do you remember before they left? His dad said to them, him and his brother, I don't want to use the language. I'm not going to say the language, but basically he said, you and your brother, if you go with your mum, you're going to grow up, you're going to end up being, and he said something there. I'm not going to repeat what he said, but and I feel like that is part of his driving force. Like deep down, I honestly, when I read this and I see how hard this guy goes, I think like he's trying to there's something in him that's trying to prove his dad wrong. He's proved his dad wrong 10 times over, like 100 times over. But that was one of the last words his dad said to him, that, if you and your brother go with your mum, you're going to end up you're going to grow up to be X, yeah? So anyway, they left. They ran out of money. Even the whole leaving struggle, because big up to his mum, man, because even the whole leaving struggle, the car broke down, they had no money, Then anyway, his dad came back later on, and his brother then went back with the dad, if you remember. So his brother went,
I remember now, yeah.
Oh, listen, all right, another thing as well, sorry. A friend of mine, as well, with the book, there's also the audio book of this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've read the book. This is the second time I've read the book. I'm actually also currently listening to the audio book. Now, even T, I would recommend you, anyone, because on the audio book, how they do it, the guy reads through the chapters, but then afterwards, there's it's like a podcast. So the guy reads to him about that chapter that they just read. Okay, so the reason I'm bringing that up is there's a part on the podcast where he's talking about the whole abuse of his dad. So the mum and her brother, so David's uncle, made a plan that one night, this isn't in the book, so this is what I got from the podcast, yeah? So one night, yeah, there was like, listen, the mum was like, look, I want to leave him. Her brother was like, listen, this guy's taking the mick, let's kill him. So she was like, yeah, cool, let's do it. So he's like, listen, so the brother owned dogs, he trained dogs, I think they're German Shepherds. So he's like, look, I've got these attack dogs. All we do is, when you come out of the skate rink one night, I'll set the dogs on him. I've got 2 dogs, they'll go for him and they'll just kill him. And then the mum was like, yeah, but he's got a shotgun, he's got a gun. So when he sees the dogs coming, he's going to shoot them. So then the brother was like, don't worry, there's 2 dogs. He'll shoot one and kill one, but the other one will get him. So they had that plan to kill. This is how bad it was, where they're planning to kill him, yeah? So then, but I think a few days before, the mother just was like, nah, like, let's not do it. I don't want to kill him in front of the kids and whatever. So anyway, someone that's read this book, even T, I recommend, because the podcast, you actually there's a lot of stuff because to think about how much stuff he's been through, not all of it's in the book. So that's a selected story, but that kind of exemplifies how bad the relationship was, that they had a plan to kill this man.
Yeah. Oh, it's deep. The book is deep. The book is so deep. And without hanging on to the negative sides of his upbringing and stuff, because he's overcome so much. So I kind of want to talk about that as well, because if anyone's going through difficult times, difficult emotions, some of the things that he does can resonate with other people. And one of the things that I loved, I mean, my favorite word, the word I love, accountability. I'm so big on accountability. And he talks about the accountability mirror and how he looks in the mirror to ask himself tough questions. And he was out of shape, he was fat, he was overweight, and he looked in the mirror and he was honest with himself. He said, David, you're fat, you're a failure, you're out of shape. And he really talked to himself and told himself like the truth, the hard truths, which sometimes in life, you got to be real. You got to be real with yourself. You got to be real with some of your friends sometimes, some of your family. It might not be nice, it might not be pleasurable, but sometimes you just have to come back to reality. And I love that section where he not only looked at himself in the mirror and told himself those hard truths, but it made him realize, I've got to do something about it. And that's when he started to implement things to, lose weight and challenge himself. I mean, he's been through a lot of failures as well, which is another thing I wanted to talk about.
Yeah. But I think we have to build up to that. To the failures, because that's way back first. But I think with the accountability mirror, what it caused him to do, that whole step, because remember that section of his life when he actually started it, was when he was in college or school. He was in assistant education. So this was way before he even started that journey to become, because he was trying to fit in with, he was living up to the stereotype, shall we say. And I think he went to a good school, like a private school at one stage. Then he went to a school in the hood. Then he went back to the private school, something like that. And then he kind of started to play the character of, the ghetto. He used to call himself a fake thug, basically, like a fake ghetto thug. Then I think he kind of just snapped out of it eventually, started cutting his hair and all that kind of stuff. And I think with the accountability mirror, and at the end of every chapter, he gives a challenge. So he'll give you a challenge. So one of the challenges he says, just be real with yourself. And I think it goes down to that, it's a constant thread throughout the whole story. or throughout the whole book is reflection, which comes from that accountability mirror. Do you know what I mean? The ongoing conversations you have, the inner conversations, because, you know, I think there's a stat and he says something, the average person thinks 2,000 to 3,000 thoughts per hour. That's incredible. Do you know what I mean? Like, think of, that's a lot, and it's true. So the kind of conversations you're having with yourself and what you do with that, because we know in ourselves if we're lying to ourselves or being honest with ourselves, and the accountability mirror is the kind of thing that helps you. Well, if you're strong enough to do it, it will let you be real with yourself. Say, no, you know what? I'm not actually the person I'm pretending to be on the outside. Isn't who I really am. You know, and you have to own your thoughts and own yourself and whatnot. So, yeah, man. I think for him to get to that point, he had to go through a lot through school, through him, the whole stuttering. You know, and again, he had good role models as well, because he had I think it was Sister Catherine, the nun, who kind of showed him that you can do more than what's actually put in front of you. Do you know what I mean? Or what you're supposed to do. You can kind of elevate from your status.
Yeah, 100%. I think the accountability mirror as well helped him to realize so many different things. Like you touched on it briefly, like he cheated his way through like exams and stuff. He was copying people to scrape through exams. But then later on in life, when he actually had to do things that required the education needed, he really struggled. And I think that just goes to show, like, you can't cut corners, really. You know, cheating cheaters never prosper, as they say. he really learned the hard way when it came to that. And I mean, I know I mentioned failures, but before, I think you're talking about different failures to me.
Okay.
Because he fails.
Fails a lot, man.
No.
It's it depends.
No. Actually, no, we're not. We're talking about the same one. All right, cool. Let's move on to, like, he's had all this abuse, he's had all this negativity. So now he's decided that he wants to join the Navy SEALs. He sees an advert or something and he realizes, okay, this is what I want to do. Go on.
No, so yeah, he's working a job that he's not happy in.
Yes.
And the job is
I skipped over.
Yeah. No, it's all good. It's all good. I've read it twice and the podcast. So yeah, he's working a job that he doesn't like. And he's become what he was supposed to become. If you get what I mean, like I don't want to say he's a failure. He's just surviving. He's, you know, and that's, he wants more than that. He wants more than just survive. So there was a night, where he was out spraying for roaches at a restaurant. So what he does is, at the end of the night, say you go to McDonald's or any sort of restaurant, he at the night is vermin control. So he'll go and spray up and put traps out and all that kind of stuff. So when everyone's gone home, he's doing that through the night. And he was he was overweight, you know, big. I think he used to lift heavy, but he was really big. If you see Goggins now, he's quite slim, you know, good shape. But at the time, he was like a bulky guy, but a bulky, overweight guy. So anyway, he's out there now spraying for cockroaches. And I think he accidentally or unknowingly sprays the nest of the cockroaches. So they all run out on him. Obviously, can you imagine? Yeah. Firstly, can you imagine? Yeah. So he's done that. Then, like, he goes outside, and I think he goes outside or he runs out or whatever. He just leaves it and just goes outside to the bin to throw something in the bin, and there's a raccoon in there, and the raccoon hisses at him. So I think that was his rock bottom. Yeah. So he's hit rock bottom now. He's like, Ray, look at my life. Yeah. So he's hit rock bottom. Then I think he's just gone home. He left it there. He went home and he's seen, it was a documentary on the Navy SEALs. I know they used to play it on, I think it's on Discovery Channel, something like that. So at that point, because of even he met someone prior in his life that kind of inspired him into the military. I think someone in his family was a pilot or something like that as well. So he's kind of always had that maybe influence there or thereabouts. And yeah, man, he started calling around different centers, different naval centers. I might be saying this wrong, on naval bases or however.
Yeah.
And then eventually someone said, look, if you can do this and this and this, I'll recommend you for the training. You can go for the training. So yeah, man, then he gets on that and he hits that tarmac.
I think that shows as well another aspect of determination, because when he called around, I mean, he called loads. I can't remember the exact number, but there were so many places he called. Yeah. They said, you know, he wasn't qualified to try, and there was one person who eventually gave him a chance. When they met up, he said to him, yeah, look, you're overweight, you need to lose weight in order to come to the trials, but I believe in you, or whatever. The guy gave him the chance
Yes.
Whereas none of the other bases gave him any opportunity or gave him a chance. And I think one of the things I took from that is sometimes you need a little bit of luck. However, that luck came from his persistency. So he created his own luck in terms of, you know, just reaching out to as many different bases as possible. And then one person thankfully said, oh, do you know what? I'll give you a chance. You know, don't let me down. And he went into beast mode. That's when he started running. He started running. He couldn't even run. What was it, like 2 blocks or something?
A mile, man. He couldn't run 2 blocks, man. He couldn't even run 2 blocks.
Out of breath. But his goal was to you know, lose weight for to get into this SEALs, you know, Navy SEALs base. And I think that's another point that I wanted to touch on, because goal setting, I mean, goal setting is so powerful when it comes to reaching your goals, reaching like what you want to achieve. If he didn't have that target, he wouldn't necessarily have had that motivation to train. So I think, you know, things like setting goals, creating your own targets, that was another powerful message within the book, because he's got so many targets throughout the book that encourage him to train or work towards or just go beast mode, because there needs to be a why, needs to be a purpose.
100%. If you remember his first run, he failed. He stopped, as you said already. So, but again,
and did he actually? I think he actually failed and then went back to the burger shop, got milkshake, and like he was challenging with himself. So he quit. You know, he quit. He went and felt sorry for himself, which is what some of us do when we experience our first failures. We feel sorry for ourselves. But I don't know. I can't remember how he managed to pick himself out of it. Maybe it was the
motivation, bro. It's the motivation. Like you said the motivation was his reason to do it was bigger than his reason to not do it. So how that came about doesn't even really matter. You know, he the reason he wanted to do this, and because I guess it's the unknown. You know, like the last chapter. Obviously, we're not going to go there now, but it's the what if chapter. So he had that what if moment at that point, because he was like, well, if I stay here, this is my life. I'm a roach sprayer and whatever, unhappy. If I get up and run again, who knows what's going to happen? What if I can complete this first run? What if I can become a Navy SEAL? What if I mean, that's he kind of had that moment way back then. Do you know what I mean? Because even for him to lose the weight, he couldn't even, because he was so big, he couldn't run so many miles originally. So he had to get a bike. You know, you have to do the bike, and while he's riding the bike, obviously we haven't really spoken about, but he had to do a test. He had to do like he had to do a written test anyway to actually pass. So for him to do that while he was running, like he put in a lot of work. He had to run, then he had to cycle. While he's cycling, he's reading and revising. Someone that can't even properly read at that moment in time. So I mean, but again, it's all boils down to that moment where his motivation was bigger than his reason not to. This is why I always get with people when it's like, you know, people say things like, oh, you know, I just wish I could do that. Or perfect example, I was having a conversation with someone a few days ago, and they were like, oh, you know, they're smoking at the time, like, oh man, and they're younger than them. They was like in 18, 19, you know, I wish I could just stop smoking. Like these times they're smoking. I'm like, if you wanted to stop, you would stop. And I'm not saying it would be easy, but if the motivation is high enough, if someone said to you, all right, I'll tell you what, here's 10 million pounds, yeah? If you stop smoking today, this 10 million pounds will go into your bank account today. How many people will stop smoking in a heartbeat? Do you understand? So it's not, I'm not saying it'll be easy for them, but that moment when they're having the withdrawal symptoms or whatever, you know, the nicotine, all that stuff, nah, be 10 million. I'm taking this because I know what's coming. 10 million's coming to me. Do you understand? So, and again, like you said before, that why. Do you know what I mean? So whatever your reason, obviously someone's not going to come and give you 10 million pounds, but so that's why people that have maybe been smoking for a long time and then they develop an illness and the doctor says, well, look, you need to stop smoking to help you battle this illness, their motivation level goes way up. So then they stop. Do you see what I mean? So this is what it comes down to, man. So back to him, his motivation, he obviously was higher than his reason to stop because he knew what was going to be in front of him if he didn't stop.
100%. And I think there's people even that we know that, you know, get motivation from those fear factors. Like someone we know, boxing related, they were slightly overweight. They got hit with pre-diabetes. They changed their life around. Now they're slim. And once the doctor said, "Listen, you're pre-diabetes or you're pre-diabetic, you're at risk of diabetes," they were like, "Whoa, I need to change my life around." And that was enough motivation. So I think when it comes to life in general, it's about us finding those motivations, those intrinsic or extrinsic factors that encourage us to achieve whatever it is that we want to go to. And Goggins is inspirational when it comes to using his past traumas, his goal settings to help him achieve. Let's
add something to that real quick, really quickly, yeah. And this is where things like being accountable with yourself or the accountability mirror is so good because you just have to be real with yourself in that moment. So if you go back to that smoking situation, just be real and say, you know what? The reason I can't stop is because I don't really want to stop enough.
Yeah.
Just own that. And then at least you won't even be talking BS to people anymore about this and that. That's with things like the accountability mirror. Just own it. It, and then you're good. And then you'll even feel better. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not about, I wish I could. No. You just be real. The reason I can't stop doing whatever I'm doing is because I don't really want to. Yeah. And then that's it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? But anyway, sorry, bro. Let's move on.
No. I think that was important. So yeah, own it. Like you said, look in the mirror, own it. So let's fast forward on to he's done all of this. He's now got into the Navy SEALs, which is a big accomplishment. He's lost weight. He's mentally strong, and now he's in Hell Week. And boy, this Hell Week sounds life-changing. I mean, for those of you that want to experience a mild, extremely mild version of Hell Week, check out the 7-day success challenge on the YouTube channel. It's not hard in comparison to what he went through in Hell Week, but it will give most people a nice little challenge. But he went through Hell Week, which, boy, it was. I mean, I don't know if you want, kickstart.
Bruv, listen. All right. First things first, yeah. I'm sure people know, but Google Hell Week or YouTube Hell Week, to have a look, yeah. He did 3. He's the only Navy SEAL to do. I think he did 2 in 1 year.
Yeah.
He did 3, yeah. On the 3rd one, I'm jumping all over the place to you, but on the 3rd one and final one, he completed it with broken legs.
Yeah.
I will say that again. He completed it with broken legs. He had to tape his legs up together. So what he did is he used, like you said before, he drew on his past traumas.
Yeah.
He doesn't refer in this chapter, he doesn't refer to it as this. He refers to it as this later, but he calls it the cookie jar.
Yeah.
Right? But he didn't name it until further on in the book that I'm sure we'll get to. But he would call it his cookie jar. So what the cookie jar is he looks back on past experiences that he's had that have been challenging or hard for him to overcome, and he uses that as a level of motivation to kind of get through this. And I think anyone that's been through adversity, whether that's through whatever that might be, or even if you train, like from an exercise point of view, you're running, say you're trying to run for a marathon and you're trying to do that first 10 miler or whatever it might be, knowing that you've got miles in the bank, knowing you put in the work will give you that extra motivation to be like, I can do this because I've done this before.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? From a training perspective, and even from a life perspective, I mean, you can kind of draw on that. So that's what he calls it, the cookie jar. But yeah, man, Hell Week was a hell of a ride.
Yeah.
Hell Week was a hell of a ride. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't know.
So I think after the first one, he got injured, so he had to restart again. They wouldn't let him continue, and I think he was actually deep down. I think he mentioned he was happy because he was in. I think that was a part where he was deep down. Yeah. He quit, but not really. He allowed them to make him quit, but he knew that he was going to quit.
So because he had an illness. Was that sickle cell at that time? I think it was when he got sickle cell, but anyway, sorry, carry on. Yeah, he had sickle cell.
I mean, he was ill. Let's be like, he had to quit, or he didn't quit. They pulled him out.
Sorry, let me correct you a little bit on that one.
Go on.
He tried for something else prior. It wasn't the Hell Weeks. this was earlier on. He tried. I think it might have been something to do with piloting or something to do with parachuting or something like that. Yeah, people can correct me. And with that one, they said that for medical reasons you can't continue. And then he was like, he kind of just took it like, oh well, I've tried, and then he moved on because by Hell Week he was a different guy. So that's what it was. So carry on.
Yeah, I'm getting my sections confused. But I think again that just goes to show this guy has built up his mental toughness. And in fact, the term he uses, he calls it callousing your mind. When for those of you that go gym and you can't get the calluses on your hand, like from pull-up bars and whatnot.
Big up.
Yeah, he calls it callousing your mind. And at this stage, before he went to the Navy SEALs, he had to quit because of some kind of medical reasons, but he was happy. Deep down inside, he was happy. But then by the time he got to the Navy SEALs, because of all of these experiences, he was, like you said, he was a different guy. And he used his experiences from his cookie jar, those past experiences, to get him through. So yeah, he couldn't complete the first Hell Week. I can't remember why.
It's because he had sickle cell.
Yeah.
He got pneumonia. He got double pneumonia.
Yes.
Double pneumonia. That was it. Yeah, he got double pneumonia.
And the second time, I can't remember why again. There was some other reason.
The second time, that was when he ran on broken legs. Sorry. The second time he had an injury, a leg injury.
Yeah. Okay.
And then he passed the Hell Week, but he couldn't finish the rest of the training.
Yes.
That's what it was. He passed the Hell Week, but he couldn't finish the rest of the training. That's what that was. And
then he got through the last one. They told him this is the last time you can do it. You can't if you can't get through this, you're not gonna come. You're done. And yeah, like you said, he went through with mashed up shins, swollen knees, and he just pushed through. And I think I've been using some of his terminology to help me when I've been exercising.
Good.
So there's a part where they've got to work together as a team to carry the boat, and he's edging his team on to carry this boat around. They've got to run it round up mountains or whatever, and his mindset is so extreme that he wants to outdo the instructors. He wants to tell the instructors and show them, you can't break me. Whatever you do, you can't break me. And now this is serious stuff. This is serious Marine SEAL stuff that they're putting them through. Like, it's next level stuff. But he wants to go above and beyond, even when it's already mad. So they get to the end of the run and whatever, and they're holding the boat and they're lifting up the boat at the end. They're saying, come on, let's show not Silverback Gorilla, I can't remember the other guy's name,
I forget his name,
one of the instructors or trainers. Let's show him that we've won mentally. So they're lifting up the boat and they're saying, boat crew 2, boat crew 2, boat crew 2. But listen, you see when I'm training and I'm tired, I'm thinking, no, I'm like boat crew 2, boat crew 2, and it's like it's getting me through. I'm like, nah, Goggins, boat crew 2, boat crew 2. Even there's enough. So I think I might have mentioned it before in one of the other book reviews. I'm doing a daily or Monday to Friday challenge, doing 60 press ups or sit ups every day. With a friend of mine, we're keeping each other accountable. Now, I've been doing about 40 sit-ups and then switching to the press-ups, because press-ups I find easy. Like, I'm quite good at press-ups. I could do a lot, but I've been doing 40 sit-ups and then 20 press-ups. Now, when I get to those 40 sit-ups, I'm starting to feel the burn, but I could do more. I'm not pushing myself through that barrier. I'm stopping at the point where I'm starting to feel the pain. And this book was like, Ty, you gotta push through that, because your mind is stronger than what you think it is. And so now I've just been doing the whole sit-ups, and it's like I've been getting stronger, obviously doing it, but it was just a mental toughness. It was like, it allowed me, encouraged me to be like, yo, you can do this. Like, just push through. So yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to add that.
No, big up, but it's true. It's like with things like it just pushes. It's funny. Obviously, we're going to relate to this because we train, isn't it? So it's like even we were talking before this about, you know, I do a little 5K once a week, yeah, and then certain times I'll be running, and we'll get to his ultra running later on, and you know when you're tired, especially if treadmill's boring, and you're starting to feel it, and you know. And then normally the last K, I kind of step it up a little bit on the treadmill, you know, put up the incline a bit, put up the speed a bit, and I'll be feeling it, and I'll be like, bro, in a conversation I'm here like, mate, Goggins ran for 24 hours. We can't run for 24 minutes. Do you know what I'm saying? Things like that. So it's definitely, bro, it's inspirational, it's motivational. But on the Hell Week thing, there's so much that happens in that chapter alone. Yeah.
We touched the surface.
No, but. We got to name this part because this is deep, yeah. Taking souls, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Taking souls. So what he is when he's talking about taking souls, and again, because he explains it explicitly in the book and even in the podcast as well, it's an internal, personal thing, right? So what he calls right with the boat crew too, that was on the second Hell Week where they were throwing up the boat and doing all that kind of stuff. They were doing that to show the instructors that you can't break us. As much as you're here trying to break us, because that's the whole point of Hell Week, is psychological. They put you through all this pain, all this kind of stuff. You're not going to break us. We're a team. We're solid. You can do whatever you want to do. We're still here. Yeah. So at that moment, when the instructors are there looking, and they're not used to this because they've never seen this before, because they've done multiple Hell Weeks, they've seen multiple groups. They're not used to seeing at this stage of the Hell Week people that are just ready, like give us more, you know. So at that moment in time, he calls it, that's when he's taking their soul, because he knows they're going to leave that day and go home and be like, wow, am I getting soft as an instructor? Like, what's going on? What's happened? Because again, which he says in the book, they will then, because all the instructors have done Hell Week, because they're all Navy SEALs that have passed through the process.
Yeah.
So they're going to think about themselves. Wow, on day 5 of Hell Week, I was mashed.
Yeah.
How are they doing this when I was mashed up? So he knows this is the inner game, the inner game within your head. So at that moment, he takes their soul in the sense of he's now showed them we're unbreakable. You can't break us. So he refers to that as taking souls. Yeah. But again, just to clarify, he doesn't mean kind of beating people down or trying to stand over people or talk down to people, because it's an internal thing. So he doesn't actually really know that instructor has gone home and been thinking and questioning or whatever, but he's using that as his motivation. Yeah. So you know, like, see, we used to, big up like State of Mind Fitness, for example. Yeah, when we used to go there, when I used to go there anyway, you've got the instructors bellowing down on you. Sometimes I'm thinking, not me. I'm doing these burpees. I'm doing this, whatever it is. Not me. I'm going for it. So internally, I'm thinking to myself, I'm proving you that you can't break me.
Yeah.
You're breaking me. So again, I don't even know. Maybe the instructor doesn't even care about there's how many people there. But in my mind, I'm like, nah, you're not breaking me though. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's that again. So that's what he refers to as the breaking souls. So yeah, man. I mean, the whole Hell Week experience. There was so much. There's another one I'm just gonna quickly talk on. Yeah. Do you remember when? And this is about the armored mind, like the callous in the mind, the armored mind. So Goggins was never a strong swimmer. He can't swim. He couldn't swim at the time. Couldn't swim well. And there was one evolutions they had to do. So there's different challenges they put you through. And one of the challenges is you have to go down underwater and tie a knot. Yeah. So knot tying drill. Okay,
I knew this was coming.
Yeah, bro. Because come on, bro. Of course it's coming. So then now, anyway, one of the instructors, I forget the guy's name, man. But he was just an a-hole. Yeah. He was not like he was an a-hole, right? So he has Goggins as whatever. He's in there struggling for whatever. He's gone down. And then he's made him tie the knot and retie it. So when Goggins has come up, he's been up, because obviously where Goggins is kind of built himself up so strong and they know they can't break him, this guy is trying to break him. So he's like, all right, you've got to go down and do it again. So what happens is they go down, they tie the knot, the instructor gives them a thumbs up to move on to a different type of knot. I think they've got 3 or 4 different types of knot they have to tie, yeah? So they've gone under there. So he's like, Goggins, you've got to do it again. As Goggins is trying to catch his breath, he's over water, like, we're going to go down in 5 seconds or whatever. Goggins trying to catch his breath. He's throwing water in his face.
Yeah.
So you can't
breathe properly.
So you can't breathe properly. So he's like, "Wait, listen, you need to go down now and do this now, or you fail."
Yeah.
They go down. Goggins obviously feeling it, whatever. He's trying to tie the knot. Then the guy looks over the knot. But remember, they're both underwater.
Yeah.
Guy's feeling the knot, checks the knot, gives him the thumbs up for the next one. Goggins obviously going for it. His heart's beating.
Bear in mind, wait, let me just cut you
go for it.
Just because they're allowed to do one knot, come up, get some breath, go back down and do the other knot. But he says to Goggins, I bet you can't do all 3 knots in one go. So now Goggins is taking on this challenge. Yeah. So anyway, go on. Continue.
That was it. Thank you for correcting me. Yeah. So then now they're on the second knot. But as this is going on now, something comes. He gets a second win. Let's put it that way. So now he's under their time. It's not feeling like, well, I could be here all day. And he can see the instructors now starting to feel it, because remember, they're both underwater. Yeah. So now he's tied the second knot. Guys giving it a look over. Gone to the third knot. So now he's taking his sweet merry time. He's taking his time, trying to knot. And he can see the instructors like, hurry up. So he's tying it, taking his time. The guy's obviously, because he's now at a point of, he's taking his soul, you might as well call it,
yeah?
So now he's looked at it, he's done the knot. The instructor's looked at it quickly. The instructor's gone up. He stayed underwater. Because he's showing him now, you can't break me.
Yeah.
So he's now taking his time, come up. So that's just an example of everything we're just talking about with the whole taking souls, second wins and stuff like that. So that's just, there's so much in that, even in that story alone.
Oh, listen, this book, man, you need to read it, because we're just giving you little snippets. These are just sections of the book, and even though we've mentioned it now, it's still worth reading it to experience your own. I mean, when might not be saying it all the time in the exact way. So just this book. And also, like always, there's always the link in the description box. Support the thing, get it through the link in the description box. All right, shall we go on to after? We got to go on. Yeah, let's move on, man.
Yeah, cool.
We'll be talking all day about this book. Afterwards, he's now completed and he's looking for other challenges, and he wants to do this mental toughness thing. What is it? 130 miles or something?
Oh, okay. The Hurt 100. The Hurt 100.
Yeah.
Hurt 100. Yeah, Hurt 100. Yeah.
So again, I want to go back to it. He's using an event to motivate himself to train. So again, Hurt 100. He's using an event to go on.
Also, to add, the reason he's doing this is to raise money for Marines that lost, like for families of Marines that have passed away.
Yeah.
I forget them. Anyway, so carry on.
Yeah. So he's got other factors to motivate him. So he's setting this as a goal to make sure that he's motivated. He's using it. Another factor, he's raising money for a charity. So these are all things that are helping to keep him motivated. And I think that's just an important message to take in life. You take what you can from any situation to motivate yourself, to encourage yourself to do better, or to do what you want to do. So anyway, they tell him you can't do it. They tell him he can't do it. He has to complete a 24-hour run and do 100 miles in that 24 hours in order to get on to this program. As much begging and whatever, the guy who ran the course wasn't letting him. So he's now gone to run 100 miles on, was it like a week's notice? Or,
5 days, something like that.
So he's obviously a fit guy already, but 100 miles, like that's 4 marathons. Just under 4 marathons.
Yeah.
In 24 hours. So he runs it. But he's got his factors to help him get through. But also he's running on broken legs. I think he's running on broken legs in this one as well.
He's going through a lot.
He's going through a lot, but after a week's notice, he's using all of these factors to get him through. If I don't run this race, I then can't do the Hurt 100, which is the reason that I want to raise money for, all these ex Navy SEALs families, etc. So he's using all these factors to get through, and he's in pain, but he pushes through all of this mental all of these struggles to get through. In fact, there's a part that I missed out, a question that I missed out actually, which we can apply to this, is he talks about when it comes to quitting, we all ask ourselves one question. It's like, why am I here? Why am I even doing this? And in Hell Week, you know, he uses his cookie jar moments to get him through, but he's seen lots of people quit throughout that Hell Week, and it never comes just like that. People don't generally quit just like that. They've built up reasons as to why they're gonna quit. Maybe I can try again next year, or tomorrow I can do it again, or whatever.
I didn't sleep enough last night.
I
slept too long last night.
We all give ourselves excuses and reasons to quit. And I think if your purpose and your reason isn't big enough, you're more likely to give up, more likely to fail, more likely to quit. And I think that even comes down to business. You know, why am I running this business? What is my purpose? Because, you know, I think it's like 60% of businesses fail in the first 3 years. I can't remember the other stats, but and it comes down to the why. You know, why am I doing this? What is my purpose? So I think before you're doing anything, whether it's work related, whether it's dating, whether it's exercise, you know, it's like, what is the reason? Why am I doing this? I think really establishing your purpose is important, and that's another message I took from the book, because he was able to use his purpose and to motivate him to get through.
Just to add on to that point as well, he's very, very astute at noticing, because like you said, it's not that moment where the thought comes and you just say, oh, I'm gonna quit now. It's the build up. So he's very astute at noticing the first thought and shutting that down straight away. Because like you said, you know, we've all done it, man. Like when you're training, you know, you'll get to a point where I'll be like, if I'm running, and I'll be like, I'm not putting my hands on the side. I'm not going to stop. You know, you're on the treadmill, I'm not going to stop on the side. But all it takes is 1 second, like, no, I've had enough. And you just do it. Do you know what I mean? I've done it before. So it's like, but that thought didn't just start at a moment. It's a build up. So with Goggins, the way he kind of got his mind set is that he will notice the first quitting thought and then shut that one down straight away. Or just simplify, you know, the fight or flight sort of thing. But sorry,
I mean, I think that was a good interjection there, shutting it down straight away. Because like you said, even me, there's times, you know, I might have been for a run and be like, oh, I meant to do 6K, but instead when I get to the 5K point, I'm like, actually no, I've done 5K, I'll just walk the rest, or whatever. Like we all make up excuses and
you rationalize with yourself, isn't it?
You rationalize yourself. You have conversations with yourself about
negotiate.
Why am I here? What is the purpose? And I think, you know, lately actually that I've been, I don't want to say struggling with getting back with exercising regularly, but I mean, I exercise regularly anyway, but going hard in exercise, I've been struggling. I say struggling to push myself through that mental barrier of pain, you know, the next level when you're training hard. And what I took from this was I need a challenge. I need something to.
You need a why.
I need a why. I need an extra reason as to why I'm gonna, you know, go and try and run a fast 5K as opposed to a cruisy 5K. I need a motivation, and it's led me, as you know now, to sign up to a boxing match.
Look at the smile on my face. Look at the smile on my face.
I mean, you know, it's happening now. The fact that I mentioned it on here. And I think
I knew yesterday, because when I saw your Instagram post, I knew. I thought, he's definitely.
You know, part of me is still, you know, flirting with not doing it, but you know, this is again the fact of accountability. I'm putting it out here to the public. It's like, now if I don't do it, you know, what kind of person am I? I'm not sticking to my word. So
you know, I'm training with you, whatever you do. You know that already. You know that anyway. So carry on. We'll talk about after. Carry on.
But using your why, your purpose, your reason to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. So he does a madness.
So go just quickly, on that race, right? So his pre-race before the Hurt 100. he had to come up with. There were so many challenges that that he came up to before he even ran that first race.
Yeah.
One, he wasn't nowhere near prepared.
Yeah.
Two, he didn't even have which he talks about. He didn't even know what it took. He just kind of thought and this is kind of like an entrepreneurial thing as well, because he kind of just thought, well, I can bang it out. Like, I can bang it out, jump off and build the plane on the way down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He just kind of thought, so he didn't even really know what he let himself in for, which I think was a good thing, because if he did know, he would have maybe psyched himself out. You see what I mean? But he's turned up at this race, and when you look at he's a big guy. Obviously, he's not as big as he was, but he's big, muscular sort of guy. And then you're looking around, and the typical runners' physiques aren't the physique that he's got at the time. In the book, there's actually a picture of him running it. So anyway, he even mentions it. He even says it in the book. He's like, I don't know the exact quote, but he's like, Ray, if you picked a race to break a Navy SEAL or to kick a Navy SEAL's backside, this isn't the race you pick. It's a calm little track, but because 100 miles, they go through round the track X amount of times. This race massed him up differently.
Yeah.
To the point, massed him up differently. Like, he was running, he urinated on himself, he messed himself more than once. Afterwards, it was messed up. He was in a bad way because of this race. And then the night when the race finished, he goes home, he's in the bath, he feels like he's basically gonna die. I think that's a fair point to say. Yeah, he feels like he's gonna die. But again, and I kind of relate to this in a way. Yeah, his wife at the time was like, "No, I've got to take you to the hospital," and he was like, "Cool." No, he didn't. He said no. He goes, "Because if we go to the hospital, they're gonna put me on painkillers, and I want to feel the pain.
Yeah,
I want to feel this. I want to feel it." And I can't relate to that level of pain, because I'll be like, but like, do you know sometimes when it's like you've done something and you want to feel the moment, like you want to feel every single part of it, because this is what you worked for. So he goes to that, and then even at the end of the race, now he's overcome so much. That race was actually where he came up with the cookie jar concept, because he started to think about the reasons he's doing it, and he started to pull back on experiences he's had before. By this time, he'd done the Hell Weeks, so he's built up all this stuff in himself, so he knows he can do this. The next day, he emails the guy to say, "Yeah, I've done it." Kind of like trying to take the guy's soul. Like, yeah, you told me to do this, and I did it. The guy emails him back saying, "Well, David, I heard you left early."
Yeah.
Because he did 101.
Oh yeah.
He did 101 laps. 101
miles.
Sorry, 101 miles. Sorry.
So he's only supposed to do 100, but he's like, at the end of it, he's like, "Do you know what? Nah, I'm gonna do 101." Even though he's
just
in
to
pain,
make sure.
just to make sure.
So now he's done that 101. He's emailed the guy, called the guy saying, "Look, I've done it, so sign me up." The guy has now gone and said to him, "David, the whole point of a 24-hour race is to run for 24 hours."
And he stopped in like
after 18 hours. Yeah, 18 hours. You stopped after 18 hours. "I'm sorry, we're not gonna accept you for this race." So imagine what this guy.
No, he didn't say. I don't think he said he couldn't do it. He just said, I don't think he shut him down.
Trust me. No, he shut him down. Trust me. He had to run another race to get into that race. Trust me.
Yeah.
Trust me. Just trust me. So he didn't let him off the back of that race. He had to go and run another race. I don't want to give away too much of the book, because but trust me, he did it. He shut him down after that. He wasn't allowed to do it.
He did shut him down. Another
race. Yeah. He had to do another race to then get onto the Hurt 100.
Yeah. He advised him that, okay, look, you've got to go, like, do these ones, do that one, then
there's a whole list of. He gave him an option of these different races, again, semi-sarcastically, because I think for the guy who oversees this race, because the race is so brutal, he didn't want David to die on it and then shut down the whole races. I mean, so he's like, listen, and as well, he's just very hardline, where these are the rules. You have to do this to qualify as a wild card, or to get a special exemption onto this race. So yeah, man. So after all that, imagine you've just done all that and been told, "Yeah, thanks, but no thanks."
Yeah. You done all it. You said this. But no, you got to do more now. And the fact
one thing I'm just gonna add as well. Sorry, bro. Just one thing. On that race as well, where this is what David Goggins is quite known for, the 40% rule. If you remember that. So with the 40% rule, it's when you feel like you have nothing left,
Yeah.
when you feel like I'm done out, I can't run, I can't do another burpee, I can't, whatever, forget training. When you're going through something and it's like, I'm at my rock bottom, there's nothing more, I've got nothing more to give. He phrases it in a way that, look, you're only 40% done. Your tank still has 60% left of petrol. And that's the breaking point, that's the turning point. You know, like when you're running and you get to that point where, oh man, I'm done, I can't run no more, I'm finished. You've got more, you've got so much more. And even just knowing that, is like, all I've got to do is get through this moment. Because all it is a moment. It's a moment. A moment of weakness, a moment, whatever you call it. Just get through that moment and then you'll be surprised at how much you have after. Yeah.
Oh, listen, there's so many gems in this book that we've missed out so much, but it doesn't matter. That's good, because I want people to read this, because it gassed me up so much. And in fact, I read it in 2 weeks. I read this book in 2 weeks. That's how much I enjoyed it. I blitzed it, and I was considering reading it again. But
listen to the podcast, man.
But I'm gonna listen to the podcast.
Listen to Audible.
All right. Let's skip on to the last chapter before we go on to our ratings, because we've been talking for time.
Cool.
The last bit made me realize that he's human. In a sense where he started having some medical issues, and he started having some trouble with his heart, and he couldn't run certain things, and he couldn't push through it. Whereas before, he was always pushing through everything. He was using his mindset to push through all these difficult things. But there was a part towards the end where he started, quitting. He had health issues. Not quitting, but he had health issues. Yeah. And
undiagnosed as well.
Undiagnosed as well. And it just made me feel like, okay, he's human. It's like any of us with the right mindset, with the right circumstances, the right environments, we can maybe not push to his exact level, but we can push past our comfort zones 100%. And the last bit, I think, just made me think, okay, he's a human being just like me. I don't know what you thought about.
No, I mean, definitely. I think because of the book, there's so much in it, that we haven't even gone. We haven't even touched the surface.
Even the pull-ups, we ain't. Let's not go into the pull-ups.
No, let's not go into it. The Ranger School, anyway. So, but with that last chapter, and it's funny, I never looked at it that way, because when the way you put it, like, it showed that he's human. But actually, you're right, it does. Because my thing, and he says this a lot, and I'm kind of one of these people that he talks about, when he's like, people come up to me all the time and say like, you're Superman, like you can just, like, you're crazy, like you're just, how do you do what you're doing? And he's just like, and he's right when he says, he goes, I'm just a normal guy like anyone else. But people kind of put that mantle on me because they can't accept that they could do what I could do. So they have to kind of put some hyperbole on it to make it like, oh, you're the special one, like you're the chosen one, like you can do this. It's like, no, anyone can do what I do, but I just choose to do what I do.
Yeah.
But no, with the health problems, it's funny, I never actually looked at that, but I mean, he, as strong as his mind was, and as armored as his mind was, and as callous as his mind was, and the cookie jar and all these ethoses that he had, all these souls that he'd taken, he wasn't able to, he had these health problems that he couldn't overcome. And the thing is as well, he'd overcome many health problems before, talking about the broken legs, he's got an irregular heartbeat, the sickle cell, as the others, read the book. So it's like, to get to this point where he was literally, he thought he was going to die. Remember, he was in bed, which is even, and I think, depending on your kind of disposition with faith and stuff like that, and what your beliefs are, I feel like maybe that was a point to show him that, because he had to come to terms and actually, that was an internal thing. So instead of the physical stuff he was doing out on the roads or running and Navy SEAling and whatnot, but it's like, he kind of had to come to a point in himself. It's like, you know what, I'm actually happy, and I've done enough, and I've lived enough, and I've done enough, and I'm happy to forgive my brother, because he said about with him and his brother, there was an issue.
Yeah.
Obviously, his brother left him and his mum. That's how he sees it. So he never really forgave his brother for that, all the people that he kind of, because as much as people liked him and revered him, because of the way he is, a lot of people didn't like him, which affected him in his career, which affected him in his life. You know, from what I know, he's got 2 divorces. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot of pain. There's a lot of people that he maybe didn't like it, that didn't like him, but he got to a point where he literally thought he was going to die. He thought he was dying. That he was like, you know what, I'm comfortable with what I've accomplished. Yeah. And then man, and then So that's quite
because I think that's a good point, because we can continue to strive and keep on pushing, but when does it end? Say you're in business, like you're earning money, you're say you become a millionaire, then you want to become a 10 millionaire, then you want to become a billionaire. It's like, when does it end? And I think when it came to his training, he got to a point where he realized, okay, this is enough now. I'm happy at this level. I'm happy to continue running my marathons, continue running my ultra marathons. I don't need to do, these extreme ultra or whatever. Like, you don't need to do these extra things. He's happy and content with where he is and the level that he's reached. And I think that's an important message. And I really like that part of the book. It was kind of like just accepting, what he's done and being content, because before he was never content. And I think being content is important in most scenarios.
No. What he says, and I actually wrote this quote down. There's 2 quotes, and he says originally, and it goes back to when he finished the Hurt 100, and he wasn't actually happy. Remember, he was on the finish line. Remember, he was on the finish line. He just done it, and he was like, where's the next race? No, there's no finish line. So he just keeps going, he keeps pushing. But then now, fast forward to the final chapter, and he said this: my brain wasn't wired to appreciate. It was programmed to scan the horizon and ask, what's next to get done? What's next, and get it done. That's kind of how it was. And I think if you're a driven person, you can relate to that. Because you're always looking, you're always looking forward. You never look back to see what you've done. Oh, that's done, man. That's washed. Like, I'm moving on. Then obviously at this point now, where essentially he thought he was going to die, he started to appreciate what he'd done. And he said, again, I've abridged this, so it's not the whole quote, but he says, I wasn't meant to be this person. I had to fight with myself at every turn. With that came a moment of deep appreciation and acceptance. So he appreciated all he'd done, all he'd been through, and he accepted himself. Because it's true, like we said way back at the beginning, he was some overweight guy spraying for cockroaches. That's it. When you look at his life, you might have even turned around and said, well, he was lucky that he was doing that at that point, that he wasn't addicted to drugs, that he wasn't homeless, that he hadn't committed suicide. But we know from everything he'd been through, he'd done 3 hell weeks, he did Ranger School, he did Delta Selection, he did all this other stuff, these ultra marathons. You could say that kid in school, they would have never mapped out this life for him. He went and was talking, all the stuff he's done. So he actually appreciated it. And if you look at yourself, whether you look at yourself, Tyler, or I look at myself, and you think, I wasn't. You got to do unimaginable things. You got to do things that you're not supposed to do. Whatever limitations that are put onto you, you can push through those limitations. You can, because people do it all the time. I'm not saying it's easy, because it's definitely not easy. It's definitely not easy, but it's not supposed to be easy. What is easy is doing nothing. That's the easiest thing you could do. Just accept it. But whatever it is, whether it's our, family life, business life, your own personal well-being life, however you want to do it, don't just go against the script and write your own script. And I think that's one of the things I got from this. And at that point, he was happy. He was like, you know what? I'm accepting what I've done, and I'm happy with what I've done, and I appreciate myself. I appreciate what I've done, because he was always the kind of guy that's like, no, do more. Do more. So it's a balance. It's a fine balance.
I think it's important to add on that bit as well. Even though he accepted, what he's done, he didn't stop. He still carried on doing the things that he enjoyed doing, or challenging himself, or breaking through mental barriers. He didn't stop, but he just accepted where he was, and the level and appreciated it. Listen, we could talk about this book. There's so much more we could talk about this book, but we're not going to read the book. Link in the description. Read the book, because now we're going to go on to our God.
Before you do that, if you want a snapshot of it and you don't necessarily want to read the book, Tyler, maybe you can link to these in your description, right? He's got a really good interview on Joe Rogan.
Yeah,
it's about 2 hours, but it's I'd recommend anyone just watch that if you want to get a flavor for who he is and get a flavor for what is, there's other interviews he's done, but this one with Joe Rogan is very insightful and it's quite in depth. It's 2 hours, and I remember I listened to it when I was anyway. So that's I'll put that link in there as well.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah, let's go on to our star rating and difficulty rating. I'm gonna start.
I'll go on
then.
Yeah, I'll go first.
I got my number. It's not going to be influenced by you. Star rating, Mr. Fly, hit them.
It's a 5. There's nothing long to say about it. And when I start, obviously I've read this book before. Halfway through, not even halfway through, early on, I think when he was talking about the armored mind.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, this is a 5.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm giving it. It's a 5.
5 out of 5. This is the first 5 that you've given.
Yeah.
Wow. You know me, I struggle to give 5s.
I know, but I have. This is different.
This, I give a 4.9.
Okay, cool.
4.9. This book was good to give a 5. Do you know why? Yeah, there was maybe like 3 or 4 pages. Yeah, I can't remember who he was talking about, but he's talking about someone else. And he was telling a story about someone else and them and their life, etc. I'm like, Goggins, I'm here for you, bro. Like,
okay.
Don't tell me about them.
Yeah.
This is me being picky.
Yeah.
The book is, 4.9. Let's move on.
I'll qualify that a little bit. Why I gave it a 5 also is the audio book. Because with the audio book, the further insight, the further depth of the stories behind the stories, it was like he's obviously gone to that effort. Because I'm only just discovering Audible or audiobooks really now, so I don't really know if that's a standard. But from what they said in the lead up to it, like that's quite a new thing. So, but yeah, man, it's a 5, bro. Even without the audiobook, but that's what gave it that extra cherry on top. Can we go higher than 5?
Difficulty rating. Go on. How difficult was it to read?
It's not the easiest book to read, I think, because he jumps back and forth sometimes. Like he'll start the chapter at the end of the race and then he'll kind of work back. So difficulty, it's not the easiest book to read. I think for me, it's a 3. It's a 3. It's not the easiest book to read, but that's me. So I'll give it a 3. Okay.
So for me, I think, I found it an easy read because I enjoyed it so much.
Okay.
I was flying through it, but I was just hooked. And I think the chapters are, they're not short. There's not really any breaks within the chapters. But I'll give this a 2.5.
Okay.
It wasn't super hard. It wasn't super easy, but I found it easy enough because I enjoyed it so much. So yeah. Right, before we go, I know you got a big up. So
cool. I've actually got 2 big ups here.
Okay.
It's short, don't worry. One of them's to a close friend of mine, a brother of mine. You sent me a text message this morning, and I just want to say big up you, yeah? Just big up you. The next big up I want to give is for a good friend of mine, Paulette Montero. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. She's written this book. It's basically it's similar to Goggins actually, where it's semi-autobiographical. Forget that word. A semi-autobiography. Autobiographical. But it's a really good read. I'm actually going to read it this month. So
what's the name of it?
The book is called Behind the Smile. Okay. It's available on Amazon.
I'll put the link in the description.
Put the link in the description. It's about her life story. She came to England at a certain age. She's been through a lot of things, and she's persevered. She's an author. She does so much within the community. She does so much for herself. She's basically like a social media influencer to some degree as well. She really helps out her community, and she's really doing big things. So if you need a little bit of inspiration, which is a little bit closer to home, especially where David Goggins, that book, he's a man, it might relate more to males. This is a book that I think if you're someone who's going through things, and when you read the book and see what she's been through and see where she's got to, you'll just be amazed at what you can actually do. So, big up Paulette, Behind the Smile. Obviously, if you look at it, it's about, she kind of put on maybe a bit of a persona at one stage and didn't accept, again, going back to like with David Goggins, that being real with yourself and saying, who am I really? Am I really smiling on the inside too? So yeah, man, it's available on Amazon.
Okay, big up. And remember, support the thing. Make sure you're hitting that like. Make sure you're hitting the subscribe if you're not subscribed. And leave a comment. We want to see more people get involved. If you've read this book, if you're going to read this book, leave a comment. Support the thing.
Support the thing, bro. What's up for next month? What's up for next month?
Next month. I nearly forgot. Next month we got Think and Grow Rich. Mr. Fly's got the old version, but Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. This is next month's book. This is my selection. This was actually recommended to me by Sean from Last Fitness, and it wasn't actually him. It was his partner, his missus. She really sold the book to me after a conversation with her. So Alicia, big up you. And this is next month's book. So if you want to get involved, this link will be in the description box too. So read that, and it will be dropping on the first Friday of the next month. All right, everyone. Blessings.
Peace up, man.
Peace.